Hello and welcome to today's video. First of all, I want to apologize for the last video I shot with respects to the lighting. I was experimenting a little bit, and the lighting didn't turn out quite the way I had hoped, so I apologize for that. I hope that this particular video shows quite a bit better. Okay, so yesterday in my video that I shot, I spoke a little bit about Greta Thunberg and what I think of her, and I suspect I'm not the only one who thinks that of her. But you're going to understand in the very last video that I will shoot in this series exactly why she figured prominently and why I wanted to start off with her. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about government hypocrisy and some of the idiocy that they engage in to try and have you fooled. The first video that I'm going to show you, which I will obviously edit into this one here, is from Katherine Mckenna. She was a government minister until she decided not to run for office the last election, who basically said that if you speak louder and you say something often enough, people will, quote-unquote, totally believe it. Well, you know something? I hate that she was dead on, because all we have heard ad nauseum, COVID this, COVID that, COVID this, COVID that, you're going to die here, you're going to die a horrible death over there, COVID more this, more COVID that. That's all we're hearing. So yeah, people are believing it. You know, I mean, if you want to believe it, that's your business. But that is a whole part of the whole government brainwashing, manipulation that they love to engage in for the fear-mongering. Anyway, have a listen to the video and you'll see what I'm talking about.
You know, I actually gave them some real advice. I said that if you actually say it louder, we've learned in the House of Commons, if you repeat it, if you say it louder, if that is your talking point, people will totally believe it, so just go it.
There you have it. Straight from the horse's mouth. So, if you don't hear it often enough, it obviously can't be true now, can it? Next video I want to talk about is from Justin Trudeau himself. Now, keep in mind, I've got lots and lots of material here, and I'm going to go over a lot of this in subsequent videos. But I wanted to get this one started with sort of what the whole plan of all of this is. It's called the Global Reset. It's all part of the whole Agenda 21 thing that many of you heard about. But in this particular video, you're going to hear directly from horse's mouth again about a global reset and how all this is a great opportunity to reset everything. Have a listen.
The last 6 months have laid bare fundamental gaps and inequities within our societies and between them. As with climate change, those who have the least are impacted the most. That's why last spring, Canada worked with Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Secretary General Antonio Guterres to convene a high-level meeting to discuss how leaders around the world could work together to close these gaps and build a better, more equitable system that works for everyone. In May, we agreed to look at 6 urgent areas of action to mobilize financing for the response and the recovery. Over the course of the summer, our 6 working groups produced over 250 policy options. On September 8th, finance ministers gathered to discuss these options and their recommendations for the short, medium, and long term. The most promising ideas will be taken up within existing IMF and World Bank processes, as well as at the G7 and G20 leaders summits later in the fall. Then, in December, we're going to have the opportunity to meet again to discuss the progress we've made. Because we understand that right now we have to fix urgent problems, but in the long run, we also have to fix the system so that it works for everyone. To eliminate this virus anywhere, we need to eliminate it everywhere. While scientists work around the clock to develop a vaccine, as governments, we have the responsibility to ensure it'll be distributed quickly and fairly around the world. On Friday, I announced that Canada will provide $440 million to the COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access Facility, including $220 million to the Advanced Market Commitment to help low and middle income countries access vaccines. This is an important initiative, and I encourage other governments to join in as well. We need to work together, and not just on vaccines. Canada believes that a strong, coordinated response across the world and across sectors is essential. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. Last week, our government committed to investing more in international development while supporting developing countries on their economic recoveries and resilience. And on that note, today, I can announce that Canada will invest $400 million more in humanitarian and development funding, which will go directly to trusted partners on the ground fighting COVID-19. Our government is committed to investing even more in the years to come. In addition, we will continue to advocate for extending the debt service suspension initiative. We will also work on ensuring the special needs of small island developing states and other vulnerable countries are taken into account. Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help.
Are you concerned about a contested election result in the United States? And what are you doing to prepare for the potential international consequences of such a situation?
Canada is, of course, fully respectful of the processes underway in the United States. We will not be interfering or engaging in any way in their electoral processes, and that includes commenting on their electoral processes. We will, of course, continue to prepare for any outcomes and be there to stand up for Canadians, as we always have through these past years and before that. The role of the Canadian government is to be there to defend Canadian interests while working with elected leaders around the world, and we will continue to do that.
My question is about the COVAX program, the coronavirus vaccine sharing and accelerating program. You've all said it should be available to all, and yet the United States has not been part of it, although some members of the private sector in the United States are. Is there anything you have done as outreach to the United States to come back into the COVAX program? And how optimistic are you that the money will come in for it and distribution of a vaccine or many vaccines, once they're available, will be distributed fairly?
We understand how important it is to eradicate the virus at home and everywhere at the same time. That's why Canada's moved forward in a number of different ways to ensure that wherever and whenever a virus is developed, we make sure we're maximizing our chances to be able to obtain it. So a big chunk of that is through contributing close to $500 million to the COVAX facility, which works as in we are securing doses for Canada at the same time that we're paying for, and at the same time as we will be paying for an equal number of doses to be distributed to the developing world. That's the large functioning of it that allows for countries to both secure domestic capacity at a reasonable price, but also ensure that our initiative gets vaccines out to other countries as well, who don't have the capacity to pay. At the same time, Canada has secured bilateral deals with many pharmaceutical companies and potential vaccines to double up on our chances to be able to access vaccines once one becomes available. But we know that participating internationally in ensuring vaccines for the developing world is incredibly important as we move forward, and which is why we're full-fledged supporters.
There you go. Now I'm going to expand a lot more on that in subsequent videos, but I wanted to use this as an introduction so that you can hear directly from the so-called leaders of the world exactly what their plan is. I'm not done with Trudeau by any means, and if this doesn't say it, I can't imagine what would. This is an example of a leader, Prime Minister of Canada, who has no problem handing out billions upon billions of dollars to banana republics that have absolutely no hope in hell of ever repaying that money. Not only does he hand it to banana republics, he even hands it to terrorist states like Iran and their Hezbollah organization, or whatever the hell they're called this week. In fact, he's given them, to help rebuild their economy, over $1.5 billion. But this is what he thinks of you as a Canadian. And if you were a military veteran and you got injured, this is what he thinks of you.
My name is Brock Blaschuk. I'm a retired corporal with the Princess Patricia Canadian Light Infantry out here in Edmonton, 1st Battalion. I served in the Canadian Armed Forces for 7 years. I deployed in Afghanistan back in 2009 until April 3rd, where I was obviously severely wounded by a roadside bomb or improvised explosive. As you can see, I've lost my left leg. I have 58% soft tissue loss and 88% nerve damage on my right leg. Back in August 24th, 2015, you made the promise, and I'll quote it here, "No veteran will be forced to fight their own government for the support and compensation they have earned." Yet you are still currently in a legal battle with veterans regarding equal support and compensation to their peers. You have ISIL or ISIS members coming into a reintegration program. You did a backdoor deal with Omar Khadr with not even stepping into the courtroom. Because honestly, Mr. Prime Minister, I was prepared to be injured in the line of duty when I joined the military. Nobody forced me to join the military. I was prepared to be killed in action. What I wasn't prepared for, Mr. Prime Minister, is Canada turning its back on me.
On a couple of elements you brought up. First of all, why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they are asking for more than we are able to give right now. They are asking for more than we... Well, no, hang on. You're asking for honest answers. Why are we still fighting against certain veterans groups in court? Because they are asking for more than we are able to give.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody more despicable in this country right now than Trudeau. I mean, this is what he thinks of his veterans. Remember, he's got money to give to terrorist states, to give to banana republics, but, oh, and don't forget terrorists that he miraculously finds $10.5 million for. And he's done that to quite a few of them here because their feelings got hurt while they were in prison where they belong forever. But if you're a senior citizen, forget it. If you're an Indian on an Indian reserve and you need clean drinking water, not happening. If you're a homeless person, not happening. If you're any one of a group of people who legitimately need money and you're a Canadian, not going to happen. If you're an injured veteran, you're asking for way too much more than the government is willing to give to you. So, no. It almost makes sense for people to leave Canada and come back, apply as refugees, for fuck's sake. And maybe they'll actually get some money for that. But if you're a Canadian, not happening, because he's not interested in you. He's interested in helping out his Banana Republic countries. Because remember what he also said in another video, where he said that how much he admires China's dictatorship. China is a communist country. Read between the lines. Lastly, I want to talk about Katherine Mckenna, or not McKenna, rather, Christina Friedland, our new finance minister and deputy PM. Well, she's bitching and complaining, apparently, that Canadians, especially some of the wealthier Canadians, have been saving way too much money. Well, yes, that's what you can do when you worked for most of your life, and you can save money, Christia. It's a normal progression of things that happen. You work, you save money. She apparently is not happy with that. So she would like to have some ideas on how you, as a hardworking Canadian who saved your money, can get rid of that money, maybe give it to the government, maybe do this, do that, just so that it's not in your pockets anymore, because she would like to have it.
I want to thank you, first of all, for really zeroing in on the preloaded stimulus idea. None of us have a crystal ball, but economists like Ben, like Doug, have been pointing out that some Canadian households, and it tends to be the better off households, do have quite a lot of money that they've saved because there hasn't been that much to do in the pandemic. And certainly it would be great if that money could go towards driving our recovery. And I want to make an offer now to all of your listeners. If people have ideas on how the government can act to help unlock that preloaded stimulus, I am very, very interested. Maybe, as Doug Porter was suggesting, it happens by itself. That's the best case scenario for me. But if people have ideas on how we can really, try to unleash that, and particularly unleash it in the parts of the Canadian economy that really need support, tourism, hospitality, domestic services, let me know.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is your government. Now, I'm only showcasing 4 videos over here, but I've got a lot more, and I'm going to be showing those over the course of this particular series in various stages and various forms, because this is what you need to understand. This is how you're being manipulated. This is how you are being led to believe that everything that is going on here is actually legitimate, when in fact it's not. 100% not, and you are being played. Absolutely, positively being played. I'm going to prove that to you later on as well. So for now, enjoy this particular video, and pay attention to the ones that I've enclosed in here, because those are all important, that you understand just what the government is actually doing to you. Much more to come on this in subsequent videos. So for the time being, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll catch you again real soon.